Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we are dealing with another faction overview with today, the clans of Enedwaith. Welcome to Enedwaith. As we see on a first glimpse, we have only one region to start with, Alkfoot. It's our only region. We are one of the few factions that actually start with only one regions. The others are Harad, Rhun, Gundabad, and I think that's it. Maybe Dol Guldur as well. Dol Guldur only starts with one region as well. So, Alkfoot is your only settlement, and in Alkfoot we have a small, well, decent garrison with 5 units and mood speaker Tremak, your faction leader. In the fort, some west, we have Chieftain Dunshite with a unit of Dubshite elders. This is just an more inspiring unit, like the war chanters used to be in all the versions. So you have a rather average army. So not too great, not too small. And then continuing with your bodyguards, we have Mood Speaker Tremak, who has a unique bodyguard of Mokaini Ambakstoi. A decent mainline infantry. He is not as good as he was in earlier version with the guards of Enedwaith, but still early games he will be pretty good. And then here we have Chieftain Dunghite. I think that's how you pronounce it, Dunghite. Also custom with Dubshite Foresters, a very good archer unit. So you only have 2 generals and both are unique. Your regular bodyguard is the clan heralds. So as you see, we won't have any generic bodyguards at the start of the game. Then dealing with the family tree, you don't have one. As Enedwaith, it's a perfect fit that you are not a family-based faction. You are the clans of Enedwaith, different clans that each has his own traditions, his own quirks and things. So you don't have a family tree, you are Teutonic. Then dealing with geographical area. Well, we are in the area that is called Enedwaith. I think it's from this area to around here, Dornvorn. This all is called Enedwaith. I could be wrong a little bit, but I think everything on both sides of the Guadlo River over here has been seen as Enedwaith. Well, talking about the defensibility of this area, it is not very defensible. We have the rivers here and there, but mainly you have open plains where you can just walk through. You have the defense of the Guadlo River on your western side, but normally your enemies don't come from there, so not that defensible. And I think most of it is seen as grassland or forest, but if you want to be sure, check the green books. If you scroll down, you see each region whether it's seen as grassland, forest, or mountainous. There's some mountainous, and I think this is that region. Yes, Heorodskir. I think it's pronounced Heorodskir. So if you want to find out which region is which terrain, just check the green books. Moving towards expansions. Well, as you see, we have lots and lots of rebel villages around you, so there is a lot of rebel regions to take before you actually encounter any other factions. But if you want a little guide on what I would say go for Herod and Karas first, and that has to do with your script, which we will come to in a moment. But Karas, Herod, maybe Barat Vin, Londangeren for sure. Those are regions you normally is there for the grabbing for you. Londare, although it has a really beefy garrison, also something to do with your script. And even further, we have Seduri, Bregos, Argond, Karas, Nurneland, Dolvorn, Cor Willishar. There is enough rebel regions for you to take. And the majority of those regions you really need to take. Then dealing with custom battle maps. Well, unfortunately, there are not a lot of custom battle maps around. The closest is Isengard, the Hornburg, further Edoras. If we go up north, Tarbet might be custom, but I don't think so. I think it's a generic Numenorean city. Osnethil is custom. Khazad-Dûm, both sides is custom. Besides that, not that many custom settlements. So most of the time you will fight generic Northmen or Wildmen settlements. Then dealing with diplomacy. At the start of the game, you have no friends and no enemies. Well, the rebels are your enemies, but they are everyone's enemies. So you start neutral. But the game is very intended that you go to war with Dunland. You need them for your script. You need them. They will try to take lands that borders you. So the script is very, very much intended to go to war with Dunland. It doesn't mean that you have to go to war with Isengard, though. It is likely, but it is not impossible to avoid war with Isengard. Then dealing with buildings and culture. Well, we are a Wildman faction. That means for the time being, our higher tier settlements are locked off behind the script. To unlock it, we need to complete the script, and then we will have our higher tier of cities and fortresses. Although I think the fortress is not, maybe it's not restricted. I'm not sure, but I think both of them are restricted. As we are dealing with the blacksmith first, we only have 2 tiers of blacksmith. The leather tanner and the leather worker. We are not well-known smiths. We are clans, wild men. So we are not very well skilled in smithing. So we only have 2 tiers of smithing. We do have boards, and we do have ships. We are one of the few nations that are known to be sailors. We're not as good as the elves nor the Numenorians, but we are better than other human factions. So we have access to a special, unique ship, which is also locked behind the script. You will note that a lot of things for us is locked behind the script, so it is a very... at the start you are very small, very underdeveloped, but as you work yourself through the script, you will see that Enedwaith is more powerful than they seem on the first glance. We have one guild, I see. We don't have the Warriors Guild, which is interesting because normally all factions do have the Warriors Guild. We only have the Archers Guild, which is on the first tier gives only faster replenishment of all archers. The second tier gives Druidine Hunters, a pretty dangerous and deadly archer unit. Very high accuracy, short range, but poisoned arrows, very useful. And I also give Dubsheet Foresters, which is the bodyguard of Chieftain Dunghait. I do need to address something else. Yes, unique buildings. We have a unique building called the Fishery. The Fishery just gives a decent economy boost and can be found in every region that has the fish resource, which is found over here. Fishery provides a moderate trade resource. So everywhere we have this resource, you can build a fishery. It has two tiers, the fishery and the fisherman's guild house. That are our unique buildings, but as you just saw, there is something else unique to our recruitment. That our low tier units doesn't come from a single barracks, they come from economy buildings. So by building up your economy, you also build your military, just like with Bree. So the fishery provide more like fishermen. I think the blacksmith might provide something. Yes, Mokhaini Southam. Can watch that unit. That's this unit. And so most things give something. I think the roads they don't give anything. No, I need where they are. Not a fisherman. The land clearance. They give Fowlum border guard. These guys give Fellaini herders. This is a cavalry unit. So everything you need, you load their military, you find in your economy buildings. Yes. That's all we need to know about the buildings. There is one other unique building, but it can only be built in Gundabad, and I think it's the Thir Crocoil. And this is also something you need for your script. And we can build Tarbert Bridge, but I think everyone who takes Tarbert can. Then dealing with the scripts for Enedwaith, and this is an important one because everything you will do is based around this script. The script of Enedwaith is a Unite the Clan script. We have seen it with Rhun and Harad, but this one is a little bit different from the others. The story, as the story tells you in the first turn, is that the clans are divided and they don't have one single leader they want to follow, and it's your task to unite these clans under one single banner and reform the kingdom of Athamor. You start as the Mokhaini. The seat of the Mokhaini is in Alkfoot. It provides you with the Mokhaini units, and it's the start of your empire. Every clan has an ancestral seed you need to conquer, and then it provides you with a mainstream unit. So all early tier units of all clans are provided through economy buildings, but the better tier unit can only be trained if you conquered the seed of its clan. and that is where your conquest comes in, because certain cities are rebel held, but you need to be quick to grab them. One of them is Herod. It's over here. Belongs to the Fallen clan. The Fallen clan provides you with Fallen warriors and Fallen border guard. The Fallen warriors is the main mid-tier unit, and the Fallen border guard is the entry-tier unit. The Fallen border guard is a defensive unit, while the Fallen warriors are more an offensive one. So Herald is a city you need to take. If you move down south, Karas is one. They provide the Keefi clan, and the Keefi provides some archers. I have to say I don't know their second unit, but I think it will be some kind of archer unit as well, since most clans are kind of known for a thing. And so Karas is one you need to take. Then we move to Lond-Angren. Lond-Angren is the seat of the Bear Siege, and the Bear Siege provides your special unique ship. It doesn't provide you a unit, it provides you a unique ship. Then we move to Londar. Londar is probably the most difficult city to take. It is with a reason, because Londar provides you with the Leodan clan, and the Leodan clan are the most warrior-like of all clans. They have the best armor, they have the best weapons, early tiers, and they provide you with more defensive units. Then we move to Vale, and over here, as you see, it is in hands of Dunland. So as I already said, the script is very much intended that you go to war with Dunland, and Vale is one of the cities you need to take for the Mordak clan. The Mordak clan provides you with javelin units. So we already saw the Mordak fishermen, which can be trained from the fishery. The other unit is the Mordak skirmishers, just a better javelin unit. Then we move across the river. We need to take Argond. Argond is the home of the Fellaini clan. The Fellaini clan provides you with cavalry. So the Fellaini herders is your early tier cavalry, and your better cavalry are the war wagons, which can be a bit dodgy to use. You really need to know how to use them before you can, if you want them to be effective. So Argond is one of your targets. Then we have one last clan we need to take care of, and that's the Dub Sheet in Dol Vorn. So you need all the way up to Dol Vorn to claim the last ancestral clan seed. I said last clan, but it's the last clan you can take by rebel hands. For the script to complete, you need to take Tarbet, but first you need to defeat Dunland. Or you can take Tarbet first, but to complete the script, you need to defeat Dunland in their homelands. You have to take the homelands of Dunland, which is Dunyard, Byrick, and Dunlarag. If you take Dunland Heartlands and Tarbet, the second part of the script will kick off, telling you to build the unique building we just saw, the Thyrcrocoil. And that's like the great palace of Enedwaith. If you have built the Thyrcrocoil, you have access to your elite units, the Enedwaith real professional army, and you will have unlocked your higher tier of cities. So everything, every development you need, you want to reach, is done through the script. So the script is, well, your baseline for your game. Once you have taken Tarbet, you build a tier coil, you are awarded with 4 units, 4 elite units, the Enedwaith army, which can go toe to toe to most late tier units. Don't expect them to take on dwarves head on, because we are still wild men, but we have a decent fighting chance against late tier armies. Every time you take an ancestral seed of a clan, you will be provided with a general with a unit of the higher tier soldiers of that clan. So for example, we have Alkfoot, which is the home of the Mokhani, and it provides us with Mood Speaker Tramak, who has the Mokhani Ambakstoi. So if we have taken, for example, Herod, we will provide it with a general of Fallen Warriors. And that is for every ancestral seed you take. For Londengren, you will be awarded with a fleet, 1 ship of the Dragon Boat. That is the Enedwaith script. It is the only script. It's the only necessary script. It will provide with a lot of fun. I think personally, I think with the changes, Enedwaith is one of the factions that has become really interesting. At first, I was thinking not another United Clan scripts, because you already have to, and what can't we? Couldn't they think of something else? But once I saw someone have a playthrough with it, I became really excited, because it is unique in its own way, and that is what I really liked about it. Every time you take something, you have specific settlements you have to take, but you are not restricted on the lower tiers, so you are not forced to take a certain route. If you would like, you can muster an army as big as possible and go for Londar first. You are not restricted in that way. So I'm really excited about this script, and when I have the opportunity, I will try to start a campaign as Enedwaith, because they just seem really fun now. But that is everything we need to know about the campaign map. I know I've been moving around quite a lot without any purpose, but we will close the campaign, and I will see you on the battle map to see Enedwaith's brand new roster. Welcome to the battle map, as we are dealing with the brand new roster of Enedwaith. And at the first glance you see we have a decent infantry line. We are a little bit limited on the cavalry side, and we have enough missile options. So just diving in with our low tier units. I have separated them in units you get from the start, from your economy buildings, to the units that will be unlocked, and the units that are your proper elites. So it's a little bit different from normal, but I didn't really know how to put certain units in, so I thought this would be more easier to deal with. So first and foremost, with the Mokhani Thauta. This is a strike unit, and you can build them from the start. They are from the Mohani clan, and they are provided through the ladder tenor. So this is an early tier strike infantry, 5 attack, armor piercing, 8 charge, and a 6 defense. Do note they don't have any shields. Like most units, you are still an ambushing faction, so most units are adaptive in hiding in the woods, or very well skilled in hiding in the woods. So is the Mohani Thauta. They are adept hiding in the woods, armor piercing, and they have a poor morale, average morale spawns. They're slightly faster than other infantry. They like the forest, the grassland, and the snow, and they don't like barren lands. So you early tier strike infantry. They are supported by the Faulen bodyguard. These guys come from the land clearance, the farmline building, and this is a spear unit. They have a 4 attack, a 6 charge, and a 12 defense. Do note they don't wear any armor, so they are, well, they would perform reasonably well against armor piercing troops, I would say. These guys can do a shield trom. In my opinion, not that useful, but it is something. They can hide everywhere. They are spears, so they're skilled against mounts. They have an average morale, an impetuous morale response, very nice early tier, and they are pretty faster than other units with a 15% bonus. And they have a bonus against horses. On this tier, we also have some support on firepower with the Mordak fishermen. These guys comes from the fishery building, so they are kind of restricted. Because not everywhere you don't have the fishery resource everywhere, so watch out for that. But this is your early tier javelin unit with a 3 attack, a 7 missile attack, and a 6 charge. They are decent javelins, but don't put them in melee. Their 4 defense, which is mostly in defense skills, makes them really vulnerable against enemy missile units. They can hide everywhere. They're skilled against mounts with their javelins. They have poor morale spawns. They're slightly faster with 10% movement speed with 10% speed bonus. They have 4 missiles, which is quite a lot actually. I think most javelins have 2 or 3. They're 70 meters on the range and then high accuracy. These guys come from fishery. I already mentioned that. Then we have the Kifai Huntsman, your archer unit, which comes from the inline, if I'm right, from the taverns. And they have a 2 melee attack, a 3 missile attack, and a 4 charge bonus. They have a 4 total defense, which is equally divided in armor and defense skills. They can hide everywhere. They have poor morale response. They are 10% faster than other infantry units. They have 24 missiles, 170 meter range, and an average accuracy. Just a reasonable low tier archer unit. And they come from the inline, already mentioned. And then we have the Fellaini Herders, your early tier cavalry unit, which is a javelin unit. They have a 3 melee attack, a 9 missile attack, which is also armor piercing, a 5 charge bonus, and a 6 total defense, which is equally divided in on all skills. They can hide. They are adept hiding in the woods, so they are not as good as the Kifai Huntsman, who can hide everywhere, but they can hide pretty much in most places. They're skilled against mounts with their javelins, effective against armor with their javelins. They have a poor morale, average morale response. They have 6 missiles, which is really a lot actually. 70-meter range and high accuracy. So these guys are just mounted fishermen, basically. Then going to the units that can be unlocked. We start with the backstory, because you start having them unlocked. They have an 8 melee attack, a 9 missile attack. They throw axes, so they have armor piercing, axe throwing unit with a 9 missile attack. They have a 7 charge bonus and a 15 defense, making them very strong early tier. When they are done with the axe throwing, I think they have regular axes who might be armor piercing, but I don't think they are. Most of the time, a double-handed axe is armor piercing and a single-handed axe is not. But don't pin me on that. I don't think they are armor piercing. So again, we see adept hiding in the woods, effective against armors with their axe throwing, with the throwing axes. They have good morale, average morale response. They're slightly faster than other infantry with 5% bonus. They have 2 missiles with a 50-meter range and high accuracy. So you start with this unit unlocked. Then we continue to the Fallen Warriors. One of your generals you will get a general with this unit, and this unit, and the Mukhani Ambaxoy is of course the general of the bodyguard of Tramak. So dealing with the Fallen Warriors, they have a 13 attack, a 9 charge bonus and a 12 defense, but realize all of their defense is in defense skill. So they are really, really vulnerable to archer fire. They can hide everywhere. They frighten nearby enemies. They have good morale, impetuous morale response, and a 15% movement speed bonus. So they are really, really strike units. And they yield Falx. It's an grease like long sword thing. Mostly you. If you have played Rome 1, the Thracian faction had this unit, just like the Dacian factions. A really, really interesting weapon. I really like that they put it in. So these are the units, and this unit will be unlocked once you have conquered Heroth. Then first dealing with the Leoden, starting with the Leoden Billman, which is an halberd unit with a 5 attack, a 5 charge, and a 40 defense. They easily can hold the line. Their halberd is armor piercing, so they are skilled against mounts with armor piercing, a really, really defensive unit. But slightly deceptive to fire, to arch fire, so be careful with that. They have average morale response, so a really good defensive unit overall. Do note, the Leoden units will be unlocked once you have conquered Londar, so you won't have any Leoden units early tier. They are supported with a spear variant, the Leoden Spearman, with a 5 attack, a 6 charge bonus, and an 18 defense. They are also a defensive unit. You will get a general with the Leoden Spearman, so that is why I decide to first take care of the Billman. This is the one that provides a general. They can make a shield wall. They are skilled against mounts. They have average morale response. A bonus against camels, walks, horses, and elephants. Just a decent mainstream spear unit. And both of these units are unlocked when you take Londar. Then dealing with the Dubsheet Elders. Just like the Leoden, these units will be, both of the Dubsheet units will be unlocked once you have conquered their ancestral home, which is Dolvorn. So first, the Dubsheet Elders, they are what once were the War Chanters, so they are a support unit with an 8 attack, a 9 charge bonus and a 40 defense. They will hold themselves in battle, but there are only 47 of them, so they will not change the tides. They do change the tides with their abilities. They inspire nearby troops. Their chanting inspires nearby troops as well. They can hide everywhere. And they have spears, so they are skilled against mounts, and they frighten nearby enemies. They have a good morale response, 50% bonus on speed. And because they have spears, they have a bonus against horses, camels, and wargs. And they come from, I think these guys, I'm not sure. I think these guys can only be trained in Dolvorn. Does it say so? No. I have to be honest, I'm not really sure how you can train these guys. It might be culture, but I'm not sure. Because they are locked behind the script, you can't just look up either. So, but they are only unlocked once you have taken Dolvorn. Another unit that can only be unlocked when you take their lands are the Warband Blades. This is one of the Dunlanding units you will be granted once you take the Dunland homelands, which is Dunyard, Byrek and Dunlarak. They have an 8 attack, a 6 charge bonus and an 80 defense, just a mainstream sword and board unit. They are adept hiding in the woods. They have a good morale, average morale response, no movement speed bonuses, just a decent sort of, just an all-round sword and board unit. Then dealing with the missile units, we have the Mordak Fishermen, Mordak Skirmishes. A direct upgrade from the Mordak Fishermen. This is also a unit that provides a general. They have a 5 melee attack, an 8 missile attack, a 6 charge bonus and a 12 total defense, equally divided in all skills. They can hide everywhere, they're skilled against mounts, they are armor piercing with their javelins, and they're reliable in the woods. I think that they are, that means that you can, oh no, they can hide everywhere. Not sure why that trait is there, what that means. I thought it was another level of hiding. So you have 3 levels, I think. Can hide everywhere, adept hiding in the woods, and just one more, but I'm not sure what that is. They have average morale spawns up 10% faster than other infantry, and they have 5 missiles, 60-meter range, and a high accuracy. What I personally like to use the movement bonus for is when units are routing. So for example, orcs are slower than other infantry. I use a fast infantry unit to take them down, take prisoners, and get the percentage of enemies killed higher. With that, you can, if it's higher than 85%, an army is destroyed, unless it has a surviving named character, and that has to be a general. So it's worth to have a few units that are faster than other units in your army. The Mordak Fishermen, the Mordak Skirmishers, you get them when you have conquered a Vale. They are supported by 2 units, and one of them is the Druidine Hunters, and I think this is the second tier unit of the Kefi clan. their connection with the Druidine makes sure that you can train them. I think it works that way, because there is no other Keyfi unit in the game. So I think you will get access to the Druidine Hunters. The 3 with a 3 melee attack, a 4 missile attack, and a 5 charge bonus. They are not that great of the melee warriors. The defense is abysmal with only 4, from which all of them are in defense skill. But where these guys shine is morale shocks, because these guys have poisonous arrows, so they reduce enemy morale. They can hide everywhere. They have once they are attacked in melee, they have spears, so they are skilled against mounts. They are 10% faster than other units. They have average morale response, and a bonus against horses, camels, and wargs. It's unfortunate that most of our units have to get hide so well, so I can't really show them off. Because that was one of the questions you guys had. Please show off more of the units itself, and I'm trying to do so. But this hiding makes it sometimes a little bit hard. Alright, we are facing the last unit of our clan. No, it's not true. We still need to deal with the war wagons. So we are dealing with the Dubsheet warriors, foresters. The Dubsheet warriors, the Dubsheet foresters come from Dorwinion as well. You start with one unit of them, just like the Dubsheet Elves, by the way. But the Dubsheet warriors is the bodyguard of Chieftain Dunghide. You can train them once you have unlocked, once you have conquered Dorwinion. And these are your ranger-like archer unit with a 5 melee attack, a 6 missile attack, which is for an archer unit pretty alright. A 7 charge bonus and a 9 defense, making them good archers, but not that great warriors. Most of their defense is divided between armor and defense skills. So they don't have any shields, but it is expected from an archer unit. They can hide everywhere. They also have poisonous arrows. They have good morale response. They're 15% faster than other infantry units, 32 missiles, 220 meter range, and a very high accuracy, making them by far one of your best, if not your best archer unit. Then we deal with the last unit that can be unlocked through the script by uniting the clans, and that are the war wagons. As I already said, they are kind of dodgy to use, because chariots, they are in general very difficult to deal with in Medieval 2, and I think in most Total War games. They are such a difficult unit. This is also the unit that provides a general once you have taken Argaunt, because this is the Fellaini war wagons. They have an 8 attack, an 11 missile attack of javelins, which is not armor piercing, I see. But an 11 missile attack is really good. They have a 7 charge bonus and a 14 total defense, mostly in armor. And they do have 2 hit points, but since they are quite of a big unit, they are easily hit, so it is to keep them kind of alive. As I said, chariots are really hard to use, so you really need to have a certain skill of using them before they are useful to in general. They are skilled against mounts. They have good morale, impetuous morale response. They are really fast, 30% faster than other cavalry units, although it might be to compensate with the movement animation as we already saw with the wargs with Dol Guldur. Sometimes speed bonuses are there to compensate the animations, because if they won't do it, the animation makes sure they are slower than other cavalry, which wouldn't make any sense since they are horses. So it could be to compensate the animation. I'm not sure about that, but they are faster. And they have 7 missiles with an 85-meter range, giving them oh, and they are armor-piercing melee attack. That's good to know. I guess that would help. I thought it was armor-piercing javelins, but armor-piercing melee, and they have 7 javelins, 85 meters on the range, and a very high accuracy. So these are the units that you can unlock by reuniting the clans. I do need to say, because I forgot it in the campaign map, the early tier units you can train at economy buildings. The unlockable units, you have a special building, the Enedwaith barracks. I think you need a mood hall to be able to build it, but they provide you the unlockable units. So you have a special barracks for that. You need to build a mood hall, at least, maybe a ladder tenor, but I don't think so. I think it only requires a mood hall. So then dealing with your elites. You get them when you have completed the reunion of all clans, including the Dunland, the Dunlandings, and you have built the Tir-Cracoil in Tarbet. You get the Enedwaith army. First, the Enedwaith Guardians. They have javelins, but they are a mainline infantry unit with a 7 attack, which might be armor piercing. No, I think the armor piercing counts for the javelins, so that's why they are listed. They have a 7 attack, a 10 missile attack, which is armor piercing, and skilled against mounts. And they have a 5 charge bonus and a 22 defense, making them proper soldiers. These guys will go toe to toe with the mainstream to high tier units of other factions. You won't outclass any dwarves or any elves, or I think you will have a hard time against Numenorian factions as well. But against mainstream middlemen, Isengard might outclass you on certain points. But you will have a fighting chance against these armies with the Enedwaith Guardsmen, who have good morale response, no movement speed bonuses. They have 4 missiles of 60-meter range and high accuracy. They are supported by a strike unit, which also provide a general, the Tir-Cracoil Constantori, I think it's pronounced. It's a mouthful. The Tir-Cracoil Constantiori. This is the unit that can use your sharpened stakes. And they have a 15 melee attack. That's really high. That's really high up in there with a proper lead. And they have a 12 missile attack. And I think these guys throw axes as well. It seems to be because they have these small axes in their hands. So armor piercing, 12 damage, 12 missile attack. Axes. They have a 9 charge bonus, a 21 defense. They are effective against armor, skilled against mounts, frighten nearby enemies. A really good strike unit. They have very good morale, impetuous morale response. They are 5% faster than other infantry. And they have a bonus against elephants and horses. And they have 2 missiles with a 65-meter range and a high accuracy. Do note, they don't have any shields. Then dealing with your elite archer. The Enedwaith marksman. They have an 8 missile attack, an 8 melee attack, a 5 missile attack, and a 3 charge bonus. And a total defense of 15. They have 28 missiles, 180 meter range, and high accuracy. And if we compare that to the Dubsheet forces, we see that as an archer, the Dubsheets are better. They have higher missile damage, they have higher range, more missiles, and I think even a better accuracy. But these marksmen are more all-round soldiers, so if they are done with their bows, they are decent infantry. And that is what makes the difference between them and the Dubsheet. Then dealing with your last cavalry unit, the Enedwaith cavalry, which is a really nice unit. I like the uniformity in the Enedwaith units, while you see the difference of clan in the lower tier units. I really like that differences between professional army and clan army. Now, dealing with the Enedwaith cavalry, they have a 7 attack, a 10 charge bonus, and a 60 defense, making them a really good cavalry unit. They're skilled against mounts. They have a good morale response, no bonuses to speed, and they like the grasslands, but they don't like barren forests and snow, and they have a bonus against horses, camels, and walks, making them just a good cavalry unit. I could make things longer than they are, but this is just a good all-round, just a good decent cavalry unit, and that's all we need to say. The general that's provided by unlocking the your professional army is in the tier Krakoil Kosantori. Damn. Tier Krakoil Kosantori. So you immediately get a unit of that in your army. Then dealing with your regular bodyguards, the clan heralds. They have they are also a javelin unit, and when they're done, they are a two-handed sword unit. And they are adept hiding in the woods, which doesn't matter, because I don't think a general's unit can hide in the wood. It might be if the general is not the commanding general. So if you have an army with two general units, one of them might be able to hide. So if they have an 11 attack, an 8 missile attack, a 9 charge bonus, and a 15 defense, which is divided in armor and defense skill. With the javelins, they are armor piercing. I don't think their swords are armor piercing, so only the javelins. They have 4 javelins with a 70 meter range and a very high accuracy. They're slightly faster than other units with a 10% movement speed. They have a very good morale and a good morale response. And their morale is not locked, so they can run away, which is always nice, in my opinion. So, not really much has changed from the bodyguards, I think, with last version. But that is the army of Enedwaith. I am really looking forward to try this faction once, because with the changes I already said, they are a very, very interesting faction, and I think I would really enjoy playing with them. But reuniting these clans, trying to rebuild Athamor. There's a really nice story built around it, around the faction, and I'm really pumped to try it sometimes. But for now, let's find out which faction will be next. I hand everything over to the AI. And let's see what we are dealing with. Our units are reforming, because of course. And this might be a tricky one, because it's the choices of the army might confuse. I see some brown, I see some white in here. So I saw some green. I see a lot of silver in here. I see some gray. Some private X-Men. And is there anything that stands out? I don't think so. More private X-Men. See some mercenaries here. Some swordsmen. And we are dealing with Bree. And why it's confusing is because Bree gets a lot of mercenary units that can be trained. And that is why it might be confusing, because we have some Dunedain in here. We have some Sarlem mercenary, Faroum mercenaries even. Some more wardens. I think I saw some elves. Maybe not. Oh no, we have some Legion Shield Guards. So we have everything in the mix here, which might have been confusing, but I tried to get some Bree-landish units in there as well. Our Kifi huntsmen are being caught in the open. That's not good. Vanyan spearmen taking up the top sheet elders. You sure? Our army seems a little bit not really knowing what they want to do. Finally it seems like... Oh. I want to say, finally it seems like we have a battle that we're winning, but then I see the majority of our army is running. Alright, and that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you soon in another video of Divide and Conquer. But until then, goodbye!